As we mentioned last show, Steve and I are going to start a new segment leading up to the start of the NFL season. We are going to rank each team within each division in the NFL and tell you guys what we think. It's not ranking all the divisions by all the divisions. It's just we're going to take this division, rank the teams, this division, rank the teams, so on and so forth. So today we are starting with the AFC South. We figured it'd be good to get the worst division, the lower ones out of the way. Yeah, this is by far the worst division in the NFL. 3 of the 4 teams have a bottom 27 offense in the NFL.
Yeah, that says everything you need to know.
It's really bad. Yeah. So starting off at number 1, I think it's pretty obvious. There really shouldn't be any question, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. They were 9-8 this past season, finished 6th in the AFC, beating the Chargers 31-30. Good Trevor Lawrence game, and then losing to Kansas City by 7. I mean,
yeah.
What are you going to do? They were the 10th ranked offense in the league and then 24th on defense. So a big difference right there.
Massive
Adding Calvin Ridley this season can't hurt you to get a better receiver. Trevor Lawrence is the hype we have said, Steve, is a little too much right now. He's getting a lot of noise good for him, but it's just too loud of a noise. I think it's kind of like Trae Young after the 21 playoff series. Like, it was the first time we've really seen him step up, be good, get some legitimate praise. I just need to see it again going into the next season, which Trae Young did. We'll see if Trevor can do that, but definitely a bright future for the Jags. And like I said, they are obviously the best team in this division.
Yeah, no, the Jags are clearly number 1. I think the addition of Ridley is going to be really interesting for them. Giving Trevor Lawrence more pieces never hurts, but you're right. It's not the offensive side of the ball that they need to be concerned about. It's the defensive side of the ball. Our boy Nicholas, for whatever reason, has Trevor Lawrence in this upper elite echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL, which I don't see it. You don't see it. I don't see it. It's like we've said, we've seen one good season from Trevor Lawrence, and until I see a second, I don't really know what to say about them other than they are clearly the best team in this division.
Yeah, I mean, they're for sure playoff contender. I mean, I think they're going to get a spot no matter what happens in for their season. They're a good team. No one's saying they're bad. I just don't want to be saying Trevor Lawrence is the top 5 quarterback in the league already when he's done one thing and really
he hasn't had a 10-win season yet.
No. They beat the Chargers, who were the most injury-ridden team in the league last year, probably. I mean, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence can't be really good. I just need to see it again. I need a bigger sample size.
Agreed.
The Jags are number 1 in the AFC South. Number 2, we had a little discussion about pre-show, but we figured this was the right decision, and that is Indianapolis being at number 2. Now, they were 4-12 last year. Not great. Obviously missed the playoffs. They were the 15 seed in the AFC, so second to last. They had a 27th ranked offense, but a top 15 defense. Mm-hmm. So good for them. I really like, Jonathan Taylor. I also really like Gardner Minshew. We had said before the show, Steve, Gardner Minshew, not a regular starter, but can he start for you to hold down the fort while you find something better? Sure, absolutely. I like him a lot. I like Michael Pittman Jr. a lot. I think he has a very promising future as a receiver in this league. He's their best receiver, though, and that's kind of the problem. I mean, there's just not enough talent on that roster on the offense. I think their defense, obviously top 15, you're fine. Could be doing better, but you're fine. But just don't have enough pieces to really move the needle and make this season much different than it was.
Now, what I will say is the addition of rookie Anthony Richardson is an interesting one because he's kind of a big question mark from this year's draft. Strong arm. I mean, this dude, I watched videos of him launching the ball 70 yards in air. And I'm hearing from, I watched the Pat McAfee show a lot, and I'm hearing from a lot of people that are on that show that sources inside Indianapolis said that they got something way better than they expected to get. So Gardner Minshew might start, but it might be this Anthony Richardson kid. So they have one of the more elite linebackers in Shaquille Leonard. He's been absolutely tearing up. I don't think there is that much separation between 2 and 3. I think that either one of them could be number 2 or number 3, but I think for our predictions, I think the Colts fit at number 2.
Number 3, we then have the Tennessee Titans, 7-10 in this past season, the 11 seed in the AFC, bottom tier for both offense and defense, not great. And Steve, our main note on the Titans in pre-show was it's Derrick Henry and who? I mean, Malik Willis and Will Levis are unproven. We have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not putting much faith or stock into either one of them.
No.
If Ryan Tannehill is your starting quarterback, you're not winning NFL games. Even when he was in Miami, I was like, if you have Ryan Tannehill, you're not winning NFL games.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me nothing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the same boat as Indianapolis, but a little worse. Like, is this team enough to do anything? I mean, Derrick Henry, I had mentioned last night, I think teams, if your running back is your best offensive weapon or your best player, it's going to be really hard to win games in today's NFL, and that is Derrick Henry, who you had mentioned is maybe on the decline now. So I just don't think Tennessee has enough to be above the Colts for 2 or really do anything in the league.
If they get DeAndre Hopkins, then they would immediately jump to number 2 for me, because at that point, that is a guy that can take load off of Henry. Yeah. And they have to worry about a deep threat at that point.
Yeah.
But the issue is, you and me have both said, and this is what we talked about with the Dolphins last night when I had my temper tantrum about Tua, is if you don't have a guy to get the ball to your receivers that is proven, then there's a question mark. Yep. Will Levis is a great quarterback. Malik Willis, I think that he was a little overhyped, and I think that the Titans kind of got screwed on him. I don't think he's going to be what everyone thought he was going to be, comparing him to Vic and Lamar Jackson. So 3 is probably, barring getting DeAndre Hopkins, 3 is the best that I think they can do this year.
Yeah. Our number 4 spot, last and really certainly least, the Houston Texans. I almost said Tennessee Titans. The Houston Texans, 3-13 last year. The bottom seed of the AFC. They had the second worst offense and the third worst defense. My only note is that CJ Stroud is their quarterback, and they play in Houston. And that is really all that needs to be said about them. There is nothing else. Like, that's just it.
I follow a lot of college football, a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, back when we did the Scandal Sports Hour, college sports were my thing. Like, there has been this draft class, Bryce Young, I wasn't even crazy about him going to Carolina. Just because, like,
oh, never mind.
Just because I'm not, like, I honestly feel like the best player offensively in this draft went to the Atlanta Falcons. So it's like a lot of these young quarterbacks that have come in, and like Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to be okay, but I see him as an RG3. Yeah. Like, I think he's going to have 1 or 2 good seasons. People are going to get hyped about him, and then he's just going to fade out.
Yep.
You know, and like CJ Stroud, you can be a really good quarterback and go to a really shitty team and still be a really shitty quarterback because of that. Like, if your team, team sucks, you can be great, but if you're not like if your team's ass, you're going to look ass. I mean, there's really no, like,
right.
CJ Stroud is not going to lead the Houston Texans to some remarkable turnaround.
Nope. And that's why they're at the 4th spot. So, just to quickly recap, we got Jacksonville at number 1, Indianapolis at number 2, Tennessee at number 3, and Houston at number 4. That is the AFC South, and that is our rankings. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.